All right, welcome to Planet Comicon 2017. Are you guys having a good time today? All right, we got some Doctor Who fans in the house. All right, we got a great panel for you coming up. But first, I just want to review a couple changes. As you know, we had a little mishap, but we're back on schedule, and we're going to bring these panels to you. So here is the updated schedule. Catherine Tate will be in here at 2:30. That's the one coming up. Emma Caulfield will be at 3:30. DCTV, 4:30. American Pie, the cast members, 5:30. Summer Glau, that was the one that's been rescheduled. It will now be at 6:30 here. And the costume contest, any cosplayers out there? Costume contest is at 7:30. And Allison Scagliotti will be tomorrow at 2 p.m. in room 2103. So all our Twitter feeds and the app and the Facebook should be updated at some point, if it's not already, with the updated schedule. Thank you guys, really, for your patience. You're awesome. And now, you know our moderator from her roles on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Bring It On. Let's welcome from Geek Nation, Claire Kramer.
Welcome back, guys. Planet Comicon 2017. Yeah. I think this one will go down in history. What do you guys think? That was crazy. In all seriousness, thank you guys so much for your patience. The safety of the guests on the stage is obviously the #1 priority, and your safety as well, also #1. So we took the time to make sure the stage will not collapse again. I'm going to sit up here as proof of that. I just wanted to say wonderful job filing in and out. And now we're here to stay, right? Yeah. Who wants to talk about Doctor Who? Me too. Please welcome to the stage our next guest, Catherine Tate.
I'm going to be very gentle on the stage.
Right over here.
I've got a feeling John Merriman made it happen so that I wouldn't be able to get on it, but anyway. He just can never, ever stand to be one-upped. So he broke the stage.
It's kind of true, isn't it?
Yes. Someone thought that someone kind of was walking around dressed as Deadpool, and there was a question we were saying, was it actually John? And I said, John would never wear something that covers his face. That's how we know it wasn't John.
He barely wears clothes to cover his body.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm more familiar, genuinely more familiar with John's butt, I believe you call it, than most other people's I've seen. So, John thinks it's a requirement every time someone says action is to drop his pants.
And he kept complaining about his pants being sweaty, too. Well, I mean, you know, what can we say? Let's talk about Donna. Let's talk about it's so interesting. Such an amazing character, but initially, you just had like a tiny cameo to start off with, and we're just, you know, not even really credited with the character's name yet. So how did that evolve into Series 4, where you know, obviously were a more integral part of the storyline?
Yeah. Well, it was just a thing. Russell had said, oh, I must get her on Doctor Who. And then they asked me to do the Christmas special, which to me worked great because it wasn't like a massive commitment. I was a massive fan of David's, love Russell, and that was great. And when we wrapped on the Christmas special, I had no idea that you know, they were going to ask me to come back again. And I was just delighted to be part of the whole thing. And then it wasn't until, I think about a year later, they said, would you come back for good? And I couldn't believe it. But then I was like, oh goodness, this is quite long. And you know, I'll put full disclosure out now that I don't know a lot about Doctor Who, even though I was in it. I mean, I know it's great, but I'm not too sure about all the history. But often people ask me questions, and I'm like, you're asking the wrong person, mate, really.
But there's something kind of refreshing to go into as an actor, a show where you're not bound by, previous storylines.
Absolutely, but I'm also talking about while I was in it, I didn't understand it.
Right.
I mean, I would constantly be on set going to David, sorry, what? Who's following us now? And he'd be like, oh, for God's sake, just read the script. But because he's like an encyclopedia, and I mean, I didn't even know that I didn't realize that the character's name, I thought his name was Mr. Who, and he was a doctor, right? So I'm like, why? But I think that's because the show's not called Doctor Who. No, hold on, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to work out where the question mark could be. Right, yes, right, so this is my point. If his name's not Mr. Who, like Brian Who, why is the show not called Doctor Who, question mark?
It's a valid point.
It's not Doctor Who. It's Doctor Who. Doctor Who.
Anyway. ...
Yeah, he's the doctor, turns out. He's just the doctor. He's not got a surname. It's not Who. Who is not his surname. But I really thought it was.
It's a valid point.
Let's do something about it.
I'm such a huge fan of yours because you create content for yourself. Obviously,
Yes.
this is outside of the Doctor Who
Yes.
universe, but your show and your ability to create these characters. When did you first realize this was going to be your sort of entry and your defining quality a little bit?
When I couldn't get a job.
You got to get creative.
I'm going to start writing my own. No, it wasn't. I think I'd always loved the idea of, I always loved comedy. And what I did was, it just, I went to drama school and I trained classically, but what happens is, at the point of entry into the industry, you are stacked against lots and lots of other people. And so I thought, well, while I was waiting for my agent to call, I started doing stand-up comedy. And found out, that I had a bit of a facility for it, and I loved doing it. And then it goes into writing your own stuff that isn't just about addressing the audience, and it kind of went like that. But it's always incredibly nice as a writer-performer when someone else writes something for you. Like Russell giving you this great script, and when I was on The Office, you just have these amazing scripts.
You were so great.
you're-
The Office
Oh,
is like
thank you.
such right?
Oh, thank you.
What the cast of Doctor Who, you may not typically think of them as comedians, but The Office you do.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
what
yeah,
was
yeah.
the different set tonalities there on that with that show?
Well, the thing about what we didn't do on Doctor Who,
Just try it out a bunch of different ways.
was, so I'm angled it a way where some people are just catching my boobs, which is not. What we didn't do on Doctor Who, which was encouraged on The Office, which you are able to do, is just, you do one take where they go, do what you like. You know what I mean? Because Doctor Who's a drama, you can't really tell the actors to go, yeah, just go off on a tangent. You know what I mean? Because suddenly you go, oh, hold on, the Dalek's made of cheese. It doesn't quite work. But obviously, in The Office, you're surrounded by such creative people, and what was fantastic was the production team knew that and just let everyone run with it. Having said that, the scripts were so tight anyway. Invariably, you ended up using what had been written, but it was the kind of atmosphere of being able to play, which was great.
Do you ever envision reviving the Catherine Tate Show?
Well, actually, at home in Britain, just before Christmas, I did a live tour around the country of it, which was amazing. It was one of the best professional experiences I've had, because you don't really, I think all actors have the kind of insecurity where you go, because as I walked into this room, I said, what have you put me in this room for? There's going to be about 17 people, and we're all going to feel rather lonely. And even though you're aware that a show's been on TV and stuff, you don't, as you know, you don't walk around thinking, well, I'm that person off the television. Never crosses my mind that people have seen it, you know. So I go and do a show. So then I'm thinking, well, I'm going to do this live show. But it's quite a way after my own show's been on TV. You know, it's about 7 years ago. And so I'm thinking, oh my gosh, no one's going to come. No one's going to come. And you're just sort of so overwhelmed when people come. And also, when you do stuff to a live crowd, it is phenomenal. It's so brilliant. It's why, you know, turning up and meeting people is so brilliant, because you just get that interaction. And then, you know, you get it and you're performing to like 5,000 people. It's fantastic. So would I bring the show back on TV? I'm not sure that I would, actually. I might do a different version of it and do completely different characters. But
Tour revival.
A tour revival, yeah.
That would be great. So. Do you have another character in mind that you haven't brought forth to the public yet?
I don't think I have, no, apart from Comic-Con Kate. I'm getting quite a bit of material from. No, I don't have anything yet, no.
Well, that brings up a good point. When you are creating a character, do you know, what sparks an idea? Is it seeing someone or an action?
Do you know what? I think you just sort of, you take from people, but you don't let them know you're stealing. That's the thing. And what I've realized is people are much more sensitive to the way they look than the way they behave. So I can take someone's entire personality, which I've done, and you put them on screen, but as long as they've got different color hair, nobody knows it's them. I mean, it's really amazing. I do a character that is entirely based, and I can say this now, she's entirely based on my cousin, and it's a character I do in my own show, and she's like, oh my God, it's like, you won't believe what's happened to me today. And she actually does say things like that, you know, like, what am I like? And things like that. She hasn't got long brown hair. My character has got long brown hair. And she will say to me, genuinely, she'll say to me, oh my God, that character you do, that is so funny. And it's like, it's you. But I've not got red hair, I've not got brown hair. You know, it's just, people are kind of more, they recognize, I think we all identify ourselves the way we look rather than the way we are. So, but the other thing what happens is, which I don't go around, you know, taking notes on people, but often I do get this a lot when, if I'm just catch someone's eye in a restaurant, they'll go, oh, you're going to write a sketch about me, aren't you? You know, I think they think I'm sort of ready to pounce. I'm like, no, just here for the paninis.
So in addition to creating the character, I'm wondering how you sort of refined your whole writing process and process of sort of approaching, you know, a part that you either have or haven't written. What is sort of your process as an actor?
Purely on salary. No, I'm joking. I think the thing is, what you look for, whether it's a comedy or a drama, is does the actual project look fun? Because there are some things, you know, there's a lot of things I look at on TV and think, oh my gosh, I would love to have been in that because it looks so much fun. There are some things that I look at and thought, oh, I bet you're not having fun. You're not having fun on that set. I can tell. It's all filmed outside. It's really wet. Do you know what I mean? It's shot really well and everyone's really heartfelt, but I know the actors are miserable, you know. So.
and it's so important because, you know, there's such long hours. And
you've got to have a laugh. That's why it's so brilliant working with like John and David and, I mean, everyone on Doctor Who. We had such a great, tight-knit relationship, which we had to because, as you say, it was really long hours. It was a lot of the time outside. It was raining. But we just loved it. It was such fun. But yeah, you're right. If you're doing that and the people you're working with are also, you know, not fun, that's a really miserable job, I think. You know, you have to, or you're all in it together, aren't you? It's that kind of thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what makes The Office in particular so great, as well as,
absolutely, yeah.
You know, Series 4 is just the camaraderie.
Oh,
you can see. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to open it up to questions because I know you guys have probably have a ton. And while they're getting lined up to the mic, how far in advance with Doctor Who did you receive the script and sort of the storyline?
I think we got it a couple of episodes in advance. We would read it. We'd have a table read. For example, while we were filming, say episode 2, we would have a table read for. We'd be reading about 2 episodes in advance. Yeah, but not a lot.
Not too much.
Not too much. No.
Hi.
Hello, my question's about Nan's Christmas special. The joke that you had on set with David, I've got a new business. I've heard that there's some that's very adult, and then there's some that might have been edited. I was wondering what was your favorite ones.
Okay, so I mean, that's like a real. You're like a. You're a die-hard fan there.
Not obsessed at all.
I mean, that's a question. That's a question about something on a DVD extra of one of my Christmas specials.
She dug deep.
And we actually, the game started on Doctor Who. Doctor Who? And it was, we used to do this thing, and I remember specifically it started, we were doing late night shoots, and one of the ADs used to do this thing, and it's a really fun game. And you go, for example, I've got a new business, right?
Oh,
so if
really?
you go up
What's
to
that?
Exactly, yes. And if someone says to you, I've got a new business, they say,
Oh,
what's
really?
that?
What's that?
You go, oh, no, I've got to think of one now. Hold on. Okay, here's one. I've got a new business.
Really, what's that?
Yeah, I'm making helium balloons of gods.
Oh, how's that going? Sorry.
Profits are rising. Actually, that was one of David's that I stole. So we do this, and it started getting into a complete frenzy. And then I did a Christmas special of one of my characters. David was in it, and we were doing it on that, and we did a documentary backstage, and we did it. And I think, yes, I did think we did edit some out. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
the bad ones? I don't know
like,
I can do that because it's
well,
children
or just
are
some
in
that
here.
have been cut out, whichever.
She may not be
I
able to
can't say this, can I?
We had John earlier, seriously.
Oh, you had John. Okay, so here was one that I did with David. And it was, well, I'll do it with you. So yeah, I've got a new business.
Oh, really? What's that?
I'm a prostitute.
How's that going?
I am fucked. Oh, I found the level.
Thank you.
Found the level of the room.
Great way to kick off the panel. Come on up.
Oh, Don, my goodness. Hold on. Let me guess. You're an ood. Oh, God.
As I understand it, if you remember your time with the doctor, you will die. So I wish to ask you, do you remember the time where you helped the doctor defeat Davros and the Daleks? How are you feeling? Headaches? Joint pain?
Can I just ask, is this question for me?
Yes.
I feel like the plan is failing.
Okay, I've got one. Exterminate.
You would not make a good Dalek.
But to be fair, you couldn't come up here and tell me that. All you need is a step.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, got it. Hi.
Did you just walk out of that?
No, she's a totally
Did the Dalek
separate.
just give birth?
I'm his girlfriend.
Oh. It's like one of those Russian doll boxes.
So I was wondering, what was it like to be one of the only female companions that had a completely platonic relationship with the Doctor?
To be honest, I didn't know the others didn't, but anyway. Actually, it was great because what you knew that it was going to be different. It wasn't going to be requited. It wasn't going to be unrequited. It was liberating, I think. I think it was liberating from both a storyline and a writing point of view, and liberating from a performance point of view, because you weren't in the parameters of the way you are with someone that you're in love with, And so it was it was such a joyous thing for us to have this very bantery, sparring relationship that was, especially playing against David, and it became kind of apparent quickly that we had a kind of shorthand with because we'd never worked together before, David and I. We didn't know each other before I joined Doctor Who, but it was just something that really locked into place and was it really fit very well, and it's a joy to do it. It was a joy, and I do think that their relationship, as you say, their platonic relationship, really fueled into that.
Thank you. And isn't that what you want?
Now go back to your very weird boyfriend.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
I was wondering, since I know you and David have worked together on a bunch of different things, what is the best or funniest memory that you have of working with him?
Funniest
oh my
memory.
goodness. The funniest memory. I mean, the thing is, there aren't. David's. Well, we did Much Ado About Nothing, and that was a really great experience. It was very different to something that we've done together, and it's not. I can't say what the funniest moment is or anything like that, but something that the director said, which really was like, oh yeah, I kind of see that. She said that during rehearsals, whenever she walked into a room, and we were in it, we were always laughing together. She said, I walk into a room, you're always in the middle of laughing about something. And that was like a really lovely thing to take from that, because David's really funny. He's such a funny in his bones kind of person. And, we really get each other's sense of humor, which makes a massive, massive difference. So I don't really have a kind of, like an anecdote or anything like that, but he's a joy to work with, and it's just funny. Now, you see, if you'd have said, with John, it's every time he drops his pants on set.
Or anywhere
but
else.
David's a little, or anywhere else, or anywhere else. That was the first time I worked with John, people were like, he's going to drop his pants. And I'm like, well, he's not really, is he? Oh, he is, yeah. He drops his pants. And with David doesn't do that.
But that what you're talking about, that chemistry between you and David, that's as an actor, that's what you strive for. Is that, just like in life, when you're close with someone, you can look at them and know what they're thinking.
That's
and
right.
That sort of relationship, it's hard to capture, but when it is captured correctly, it's magic.
It's great. It's such a joy. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was watching a special that you did for Victoria Wood, who was a comedian that you looked up to.
Yes.
And I was wondering, what comedians now do you think are doing a really great job of being a strong female comedian?
Oh, I've got no interest in people now. No, I'm just joking. Well, the thing is, someone was saying recently, as we were sitting in the green room, there's so much great stuff out there, but no one's got the time to see it. You know what I mean? So I'm so behind on so much stuff that I think, it's like it's crazy. So I don't actually know what the new comedy shows are. Like I've just heard of a thing called The Big Bang Theory. So this is how far behind I am. There is something I've seen recently that I thought was absolutely really brilliant. Was Broad City.
Yes.
I mean, oh my goodness, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, so funny. I mean, it's just brilliant. I honestly, I don't know if that's new or old, but that's like
newish.
It's right. It is, because I just don't get to see stuff, and obviously, I mean, we were just watching last night. I know this isn't a new show. I know it, but Veep, my goodness me,
Oh,
that's the funniest. I mean,
genius.
that is just, oh my goodness.
The front row likes it.
Yeah, 3 people in the front row have heard of that show. Oh, it's because no one goes into space. Oh, we're not that into it.
No time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're dressed as Donna Noble, I recognize that.
Very nice. Hi.
Can I just say, this is how, I'm so sorry, no, sorry, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say you've always been my favorite companion, and the funniest thing was when you said you're not mating with me, sunshine, and I
Yes.
wonder if you'd say that now.
Sure. You're not mating with me, sunshine.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just going to say, just to kind of tell you where the bar is on how many, sort of how things are with me and sci-fi. Like, I've never seen Star Wars or anything like that. And don't be a hater, come on. The other stuff out there. But I did one convention before in Dallas just 4 weeks ago. And someone came up to me and they were wanting a signature and said, "Do you know who I am? Do you know who I'm supposed to be?" He said, "No," he said, "Guess who I am, guess who I am." And now I guess, I should have been clued into the fact that he was asking for an autograph from someone who's on Doctor Who. But I said, "Harry Potter?" And then he made a very valid point, which is, Harry Potter wears glasses. But I just thought he was dressed as Harry Potter. But anyway.
Hi.
Hello.
I actually have a question. If you could give us some insight to your character development from Nellie on The Office to Assassins on the West End.
I ask what I'm wearing and act accordingly.
That's a solid plan.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to misrepresent myself, so I can't tell you that I'm a method actor, because I'm not. But that doesn't mean to say I don't think about it. I think I work in a slightly more instinctive way, which is easier to do in theatre, I think, partly because you can change it up every night. What's different, obviously difficult to do that if you're doing a TV series and one episode you're like, yeah, I'm going to be like this, and then the next episode you say, oh, I think I'm going to be in an Australian accent now. That slightly throws people. But you're obviously always led by the text. Well, I am, and obviously both with The Office and with Stephen Sondheim's Assassins, the text was absolutely brilliant. And also with something like Assassins, I was playing a real-life character, someone who actually still is alive, Sarah Jane Moore. So that is that's a fantastic piece of research, because although it's not a biopic of her, you have some reference points, whereas with something like Nellie in The Office, it's all up for grabs. But it's nice to mix it up and see how you feel with each thing. But
Thank you
mainly
so
what I
much.
like to do is mine the script for laughs. That's what I like to do.
Thank you.
We like it when
Thank
you do that too. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I have a question about
Sure.
if you ever stole anything from the set of Doctor Who.
Did I do that? No, I might have done it. I think I kept trying to get the sonic screwdrivers, but they were pretty much like tied down. You couldn't get them. I don't think I did. They were pretty much on you on Doctor Who. Yeah, they really were. In fact, what happened was, I think people take stuff of yours. They do. You'll be like, "Where's part of my costume?" And like, "Oh, someone's nabbed it for their pension," And then it ends up in a museum somewhere, And in the all the while they're billing me for it, But no, I don't think I did steal anything. No, but I did. To be fair, I didn't know the show was going to be popular, so
Thank you. Thank you so
you.
much. Hi.
Hello.
I just came to tell you about my new business.
Here we go. What's your new business?
I help engaged couples write their wedding vows.
You help engaged couples write their wedding vows. So how's business?
It's promising.
Oh, see? Yes!
Very nice. I love this game.
It's a great game. It's a great game.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
How are
I'm
you?
thrilled to meet you.
Thank you.
Donna is far and away my favorite companion.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you about how her character arc ended.
You've not seen it?
No.
Come on, I thought you were all fans.
I have.
Don't ask me, love.
No, she was so thrilled to go with the doctor. She went to all these wonderful places. She did so many wonderful things. And then she was made to forget all of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It broke my heart.
Absolutely. I do think that Russell's writing there, Russell T. Davies' writing, I think he wrote one of the most heartbreaking pieces of modern day fiction there. You know, it was such an extraordinary thing to do, because the most heartbreaking thing about Donna's story is she never knew, she can't remember who she could have been. And, you know, I thought that the end, her end, well, certainly from the series end, my last episode in the series, when she just reverts back to being her normal brash self. And the heartbreaking thing is, he's sitting in her parents' lounge, and he goes, "I'm the doctor." And she goes, "All right, Donna." You know, it was a really extremely brilliant, beautifully painful thing. But yeah, it's her tragedy that all that she just can't remember. And she actually can't remember, because it would kill her if she did. I know that much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I was wondering what your favorite blooper was, or behind the scenes joke.
Ooh, blooper or behind the scenes joke?
Oh, that's a hard one. I mean, the thing is, John would get annoyed if I referred to his penis as a behind-the-scenes joke, but... But to be fair, he'd just be pleased it got a mention, so... So it would have to probably be part of John's anatomy, I'd have to say, yes.
Thank you.
But thank you. No, thank you. A child getting a question that the answer is John Barrowman's penis. So I do apologize.
Hi.
What
Hello.
was the best and hardest scene to film in Doctor Who?
I think the best and hardest. Well, actually, to be honest, they were one in the same scene, because I loved it when Donna became part-time Lord and became a bit like the Doctor, and it's where she's around the console of the TARDIS, and it's towards the end of her story, and she breaks down, and that was it was difficult to play that scene, partly because I knew my character's story was coming to an end, but it was also a great one because I amalgamated into David, and I was able to kind of take on some of the actor and character's characteristics. So it was probably the bit where, and she starts talking all this. I mean, I obviously didn't know what it meant at the time, and I'd be hard pushed to try and explain it to you now. But it was all this like stuff about synapses, and she starts speaking really quickly, and then she slightly glitches, and I loved doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
So, first of all, let me just quickly say, you brought such a wonderfully comedic twist to your season of Doctor Who.
Thank you.
I was so inspired to watch your variety show, and one of my favorite characters on that is Nan.
Yes. Thank you.
So my question for you is, if Nan somehow wound up in a misadventure with the Doctor, how do you think she would play off of him compared to Donna?
Well, Nan, unfortunately, doesn't mind her language as well as Donna was able to.
Yeah.
Because Nan's not ever on at 7 o'clock on the BBC. But I think she'd say, Daleks, Time Lords, what a fucking liberty.
Yeah.
Again, apologies to the children.
She just does what she wants. Yes, thank you very much.
The privilege of age she has.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Come on up.
Hello, Catherine.
Hello.
Hello. I gotta be honest, I am fangirling like crazy right now.
It's okay.
Can I be honest and say, let's just say Donna brought a huge dynamic to Doctor Who. Can we just give her a round of applause real quick?
Thank you. You don't need to do that. Thank you. Thank you.
And you know, us here in the Midwest, we just kind of get stuck behind our parents' couches and watch Doctor Who as we get the chance. Especially myself being an artist and going into comic books and all that kind of jazz, with my cousin Brandon Peterson being here for the first time in 6 years. Sorry.
We're glad you're here.
I am too. I guess the main thing I would ask is, what do you feel is the main dynamic you brought to the show?
Well, I think, as you kindly said, you know, it was nice to bring a little bit of comedy into the show, but that's all great reference to Russell's writing, because it's not like I came up and, you know, made stuff up of myself. And I think it was lovely that David's character, David's doctor, got to have a bit of a break from romance, and, you know, was able to have a best friend by his side, and it was my privilege to play that, and thank you very much for enjoying it. But
thank you.
Thank
and
you, darling.
this is your first time in 6 years coming?
No, it's the first time I've seen my cousin in over 6 years. We haven't talked for a long time, and he's been with Marvel and DC and like lots of other companies over the last couple of years. So.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Good
Thank
for
you for sharing.
Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
I was wondering if at the beginning of the season you knew how Donna's character would change and if the ending surprised you.
Yes, it did. I had no idea what was going to happen with Donna, and I don't know that. Yeah, I'm not sure that necessarily at the beginning of the season. Probably he's a bit more organised than I am as a writer, so he probably had mapped it out. But it was. I mean, it was a real. You know, every time you read an episode, it was like, oh wow. But then when the last ones came up, it was a real. You know, it was a real punch. It was amazing. But I didn't know it was coming. No, and I was very moved by it, and also very kind of like. I felt very honoured to do something that was had such a lot of power within the series, because I do think Donna's ending touched a lot of people, because it was kind of so tragic, really. And it's just the tragedy. That was the thing about Donna, that it's the kind of the tragedy and the glory of just being the ordinary person who was extraordinary, but actually never knew it, you know. But
Thank you. And you look amazing, by the way.
Yes, you do.
I love your dress. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Towards the end of David's last episode, we see Donna start to remember some of her memories. Is there any chance she would somehow remember but not kill herself?
I mean, I don't know. I think, to be honest, the way, and I think that was the cleverness of it. I think that it's been written into the kind of like legacy of Doctor Who that if she did, she would die. Her brain would explode. So I don't think there is a chance that she could come back and not remember. It would be nice if she could, but
yeah.
But I really only want to do it if David did it as well, and that would be taking us all far back into the past. So, mind you, he has got a TARDIS, so who knows?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
One extreme to the other here. Hi, Catherine. How are you?
Hello. I'm good, thank you.
I was wondering, my question to you is that since the season has wrapped, have you gone back and watched episodes, and do you critique yourself on your performance?
Oh, in the season I was in? Mm-hmm. No. Because I told you how much I like Veep, right? No, partly because I am critical, and I would be, and the thing about rewatching something you can't do again is you get frustrated, you know, because you go, oh, I should have done it like this. So no, I haven't. I mean, sometimes I did watch each one as they went out. like live when it went out, because that's quite an event. You know, it's nice to do that. And sometimes they're on, you know, like reruns, and I'll be watching it, and then suddenly I'll turn up and like, oh God, no, I'm in this. Yeah, you know. But I guess because there's been, you know, such a space of time now, I'd be probably very interested to see it all again. But no, I haven't. I don't. Yeah, you know, I don't sit in front of the TV and watch myself all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What about for your own show, the Catherine Tate? Did you ever?
Well, do you know what? Sometimes that's on a rerun, and I can't even remember how some of the jokes end. I can't. I mean, I go, oh wow, I write that. Yeah, you know. So I do it more from that kind of point of view.
Right.
Like, where's this going? But no, I don't. I don't really like to watch it. No.
Right.
No.
Right. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry.
That's all right. What's your new
have
business?
you always been?
What's your new business?
I had time to think of one and didn't do it. Have you always been confident from a child, or have there been certain aha moments throughout your life that have helped you be more confident?
Yeah, no, I was definitely not confident as a child. And I don't know that I'm particularly confident now, but I do think, and no, I'm not. I'm just a bit loud-mouthed. I think I have become more confident, and I think going into acting as a child, I mean, as a child, you know, a child, like, as opposed to an adult child.
But they exist.
Like, as a very small child, apparently I used to do impressions and things like that. But then as I got into being about, like, school age, the worst thing to me would have been, like, being on stage and having people look at me. I hated that. And the irony, I think I remember, is when I was young, we used to, in my family, the children would, like, put on a show for the adults. And I remember specifically thinking, I cannot wait to be grown up, because then I won't have to do this again. And then I guess something happened along the way that I thought, oh, it's quite nice. I quite like this. But no, I don't. It didn't come from confidence. But I think what it came from was, excuse me, it was a way I felt confident. And certainly when I started doing stand-up comedy, which again is a thing that you think, how could you do that? How could anyone do stand-up comedy? It's such a ridiculous thing to do. But I think it was because it felt like such a challenge for me to do that, because I was extremely shy and very unconfident, that there was like, but I guess it's like a slightly masochistic thing in me, or sadomasochistic thing. I don't really know what that is. I'm saying it as if you do, and I apologize. I just think I certainly think in me there was a need to get over my shyness, and I think I wanted to do it in the most slightly, I guess, extreme way possible. And that was, I think, being an actor, getting on stage, because it does give you confidence, doesn't it? And I think it's a cheap way of doing it sometimes, you know.
Absolutely. What would your advice be? I mean, there's so much for you to look up to you as an artist for. You know, you're creating your content, you're creating these characters, you're also acting, you're really talented. What would your advice be for young girls and young women that want to get into this business that can often be very surface level?
Wear short skirts. It's a joke. I would say this is where you have to start. I think this is where, I think probably all artists have to do this. You have to start, well, certainly from a comedic and writing point of view, I think you have to start with what makes you laugh. And with artists, you have to start with what you like. Because I think if you try and second guess your audience, you'll never be true to yourself. And I think you can only be at your best when you're doing what you think is the most exceptional thing. And then your audience finds you. And you can only, you know, because you have no control. As an artist, you have no control over how your stuff is received. The only thing I can be in control of is what I put across. So I put across the best thing I can do. And that's what I would say to people. Do the best, you know, that you can do. That is what you are. You know, do the best that you think is great. And your audience will find you. Because if you try and get into a niche in the market you think is open, you know, I think it will ring false. And I think it's, you know, it's not about being so vacuous to say just believe in yourself, because obviously just believing in yourself isn't isn't always going to cut it. And the other thing I would say is, try and be, really good.
Embrace what makes you unique.
Absolutely.
And hone your talents.
Hone your
skills.
talents. But it's that thing. Isn't that thing that they say it's 10,000 hours of practice? You just got to keep doing your thing. Keep doing your thing, because then no one can shake you. But
That's great advice. And thank you so much. Did you
It's
guys
a pleasure.
enjoy your
Thank
hour?
you so much.
Thank you.
Kansas City, thank you.
Please, one more round of
Thank you
applause
very
for
much.
Catherine Tate.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much as well. Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Bye.
right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Planet Comicon. We are going to be starting our panel here in a few minutes, but I wanted to encourage everybody to move up. Come on up, and normally these seats here are reserved for Fast Pass holders, but we can move up and come to the middle, and let's make this a nice and cozy panel. And we can come in and sit here. Just remember that we're going to need to clear Planet Comicon. We don't clear the panels for the next panel. However, if you're not a Fast Pass holder, you're going to have to get up and make room for a Fast Pass holder for the next panel, okay? All right, guys, just come on in and settle in and come to the middle and come together, and we will be starting here in a couple minutes. And thank you all, guys. You all are such great fans. Give yourselves a round of applause. Are you guys the best fans? Planet Comicon. All right, thanks.